jail. And I've never outran the cops in my life, or even tried, obviously. And
I was like smoking. You're not smoking the Bandit of Clio,
right? This was a fast ass car, so I knew I could do it. And I'm like, fuck it, I can't get pulled over. So my adrenaline starts rushing. I gun it. I get to like the top of the hill. You gotta go down the hill and up the hill, and there's Field Road shoots across right there. And by the time I got to the top of the hill, I saw the cop turning left, turning in behind me onto Jennings Road with his lights on. So then I knew it was on. I was already going about 100 at that point. I gunned it, and the car went like, I don't know, 170 or 180 top end. I ended up to about 150 or 160 going down Jennings Road. I took it down to Lake, turned right, and I could still see the cop when I turned on Lake. When I was going down Lake Road, and when I was going to Saginaw, I saw the cop. He was like,
so you pretty much thought you were busted. That's why you're speeding.
Yeah, I had to get away from this cop. I knew
but you had to like drivingly drive your friend's mom's vehicle super fast to get away from the cops.
Right. Well,
not like
at that point I had to.
It sounded logical in your head that you're going to do
it.
Instead of just like nonchalantly just drive through Clio.
Well, yeah. It was too late at that point. Once the cop fucking saw me go by and was pulling back out, he was going to pull me over, and I would have got a drunk driving ticket.
This is exactly why you needed to quit drinking.
Yeah. See?
Stuff like this.
That's life lessons.
Yeah, like I could think of probably a 1,000 times instances where I thought in my head like this dude needs to quit drinking. Like
There was quite a few times where I did some things that probably weren't the smartest things I could have done in certain situations because of drinking.
It's coming up to the end and you killed him.
Yeah, okay, this is the climax. So this actually isn't that funny of a story, except for that it
emphasizes every reason that you need to quit drinking.
It's kind of funny in the fact that I stole my friend's mom's car and then outran the cops with it. But so I took down Lake Road. Eventually, I took us down some back roads out by Cliff's house and then came back into town a different way. Down Saginaw, I went through the Clio High School, back on the Clio Road, shot into my parents' house, into their driveway, flew down the driveway, pulled it back to the garage, pulled it in the garage and shut the garage and ran inside and closed and locked the door. Ran up to my room and I'm like peeking out the window, seeing if the cops were going by, and I was scared shitless. Fucking, obviously my blood's running like crazy.
After you kill the cop, I want you to quickly, because this isn't like a normal thing that I want to do on this podcast. I don't want two stories in one. But when you fucking told us the story of you taking your gun down in the Cloud Park and waiting up in trees.
It's called Ramboing.
Yeah, I called it. Yeah, that's what, when you told us that, I was fucking dying. I'm like, who does that? Like,
dude. Yeah, so I'd get drunk. That's a different story. But yeah, I used to get drunk as fuck, and I had I think it was a 9mm at the time that I had, or it might have been my 45, I don't know, but I take it down. It was a loaded gun, and I'd always carry it on me, even though I didn't have my CPL at the time. And I carried it down in the Cloud Park, and I'd go down there and just like go on walks and shit while I was drunk, and I'd have
it'd be like after drinking at a bar or someone, and you had nothing to do when you got home, so you would play Rambo.
I'd continue drinking. I'd go Ramboing down in the park, is what I called it, because I'd have my gun and shit on me. I'd have to hide in the woods when people came by, like Rambo and the First Blood. So.
You're telling about the part where you passed out by the amphitheater?
Oh no, that's actually.
No, tell that one.
Oh, okay.
That was amazing.
Oh, the one where the cop came when I was passed out inside the fence, and I
had a fucking gun on you.
That was another time I had to outrun a cop, but that was a little different.
Mm.
But no, I was talking about the time. I was going to talk about the time when I was up. I saw the people coming towards me or whatever, and I hit up in this like fucking big ass tree. It was super easy to climb. I got up in it and I was watching these people go by, and I was going to like scream at them to scare them. Right as they came up close enough so I could see like clearly who they were, I noticed it was two cops that were walking down through the park.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I'm standing there with a bottle of vodka on a tree, and my gun's on me. Like I didn't have my gun out in hand or anything, but yeah, and two cops go by, so I tried to hold my breath the whole fucking time they're walking by, talking about whatever the fuck cops.
Didn't you say like you had him in your sights and shit too?
No, I never pulled the gun on him.
No, you were in a tree and you're like aiming, but you didn't pull the trigger.
Not the cop.
Oh no, but you said that about some people or something like that.
No, I didn't pull my gun and aim at people.
I thought you did.
I had my gun out. I never pointed.
You embellished when you were telling me.
Oh, then I must have, because I pulled my gun out a lot when I was down in the park, but I never pointed it at people when I was down there. But, yeah, so the end of the story is Cliff, about 4 hours later, I finally pass out at my house. About 4 hours later, my mom starts yelling upstairs, Lance, get down here now. She's fucking pissed, and I wake up, I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I'm hungover as shit. I'm like, oh, fuck. And I remember because I looked on my dresser and I saw the car keys. I'm like, oh, yeah, I took Cliff's mom's car last night. He's probably here. And so I go outside, and his brother gave him a ride over to my house and was like, hey, dude, where the fuck is my mom's Firebird? And I'm like, dude, I asked if I could take it last night, and you said yeah. It was like 5 hours ago I asked you, and you said yeah. He was like, I didn't fucking tell you could take my mom's Firebird. I'm like, yeah, you did, dude. So I was like, I parked it in the garage and shit. I'm like, here's the keys. He's like, all right, dude. He's like, don't ever talk to me again. Just backed out of my driveway. I didn't talk to him for like a month, and then like next time I did talk to him, I called him up and I was like, dude, I'm sorry about fucking what happened that night and shit, and I got a 30-pack, and I don't want to drink it myself. You want to fucking hang out or whatever, you know, I feel really bad about what happened. He's like, alright, dude, you got a 30-pack or whatever, I'll come pick you up. So, like, it wasn't that I said sorry or whatever. He's like, you got a 30-pack? Yeah, I'll come pick you up.
Yeah.
So all was forgiven, I guess. But
I remember he was always our designated driver, but he's always drunk.
He was always wasted.
But he was the one that didn't care.
Yeah. He was always the drunkest, but yeah, you couldn't, obviously, because of your job. But.
Yeah, and I was living in Burton, and so when I'd come out that way, like, he'd have to drive around to the bars.
Yep.
And that's that was the tequila when we got the tequila night when we got to an argument about the Van Halen song. I was only tolerating you like shitting on me as a guitar player because I didn't want to drive back to Burton because I was so drunk.
I wasn't saying that you were a shitty guitar player. I was trying to argue that I thought you said you could learn that song in 2 hours. And I'm like, there's no fucking way. I didn't think you could.
Actually, I know like the main part that people always like reference to. I could still do it right now. Right. Back then I could still do it, but I never learned like all of it. Give me 2 hours. I think I can learn it.
Yeah, now I think you could, but I didn't really jam with you that much back then, dude. What do you think about it? That was before we started the Rock Hard Abs together.
Yeah.
Our band.
No, I mean, what was it? I spent the shittiest New Year's of my life with you and Rob Garza last year. I think it was me, you, and Mike. When I was just like soloing the whole time, and you're like, "Oh, dude, that's fucking badass. Keep doing that." I was like, I really don't like just getting on there and soloing in front of people and like trying to show off. I can hear you breathe inside the mic.
Nice. That was New Year's coming into 2016.
It was the shittiest New Year's ever. Remember we went to fucking the bowling alley just at the stroke of midnight just so we could be around people? It was so sad. Nice. You were still drinking at the time, so.
Yeah, we're like, we had no friends.
No, I mean, sure, we could have, like, went somewhere else, but I was just, like, I was going through a breakup still, and I was just like, I'm just not gonna. Oh, that was, like, I went through my little 2-week phase of not drinking. And, like, I had to, like, stay true to it because I posted on Facebook. So I was like, I can't fucking go out and drink.
It's Facebook official.
I was drinking I was drinking O'Doul's for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that was funny as fuck.
Oh, it was the worst time of my life.
Yeah.
And then, like, realizing that it wasn't me that was being the asshole. It wasn't me. Right. It was me being upset while I was drunk.
Right. It wasn't the alcohol.
It wasn't anyone being the asshole. It was like, I can't get upset when I'm on alcohol because it intensifies.
Yeah.
If I'm sober, yeah. So I was like, I got it. Like, I'm gonna quit drinking and I'm gonna get my life together and not be upset anymore. I was upset that I wasn't drinking.
Yeah, so, was actually a month and a day or whatever after that is when I fucking had to go in the hospital.
Yeah.
Alcoholic neuropathy.
That
was the last time I drank. February 2nd, last year.
So proud of you.
Yep, it'll be a year and fucking like a couple weeks. It'll be 12 months sober.
The other story where you got caught by the cops with a gun in the Cloud Park and you're passed out and they woke you up and you quickly like fucking realized you had a gun, so you hit it and they just told you to leave.
Yeah,
That's pretty much the whole story.
Yeah, I was on the other side of the fence sitting by the fountain and shit. They had a fountain at the amphitheater and I had my gun on me, so
Frank knows, he burned it down.
Yeah. Our friend Frank's here too, by the way.
He burnt down the amphitheater right before I met him. I met him when he's on probation.
That's going to be on later on in the podcast.
No, I don't think he's too young to be like really drunk. at that time.
Well, I mean, if you interview
15.
Frank, you guys could bring that up. I mean,
Yeah, but it's not a drunk story.
yeah, it's true.
All right, so my drunk story is, and it's gonna be this story right here.
What?
So the story that involves me and you that I can think of is there's way too many, and there's moments where there would be a good story, like great story, but it just happened like at the end of the night, nothing leading up to it. But there's a couple I'm just gonna like blend together. Like when I took you out to downtown Flint, and we've never done that before together.
Yeah, to the Buckham Alley.
Buckham Alley,
Yeah.
and we were with Mike and his ex-girlfriend. I don't remember her name.
I don't either, actually.
And I was kind of nervous going into it because at that time you were heavily involved in vodka, and when you get drunk, you would be an asshole to people that you didn't know. And I'm like, all right, well, let's fucking do this. We went to the Torch. And we drove separate, so it's me, you, and them two or whatever, and we're sitting there outside smoking, and some dude rubbed you the wrong way by saying hi or something, because that's something that would happen. You're like, I just don't like the guy.
Right.
And he came in the bar.
I was already drunk as fuck when we got there.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was nervous.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting there, and he comes up to the table and he starts talking about something, and he left. You're like, dude, I'm fighting him. I'm like, why? He said hi. He's like, no, he said fuck you to me. I was like, no, he didn't. He didn't say anything like that. He was being really nice. And then so like
he said fuck you. Yeah, dude.
you were getting
At
ready
some point.
You were getting ready to fight him. He did not say fuck you, by the way. He was really nice to us, and you're like getting ready to fight him. I was like, dude, you're not getting me kicked out of here. We've only been here an hour. Like,
Yeah.
I
believe you. I honestly don't remember most of that because I was so drunk.
The Torch has a really good beer menu. They were one of the first beer snobs in downtown Flint. Like, they had Newcastle on tap back in like 2002, and I was like, this is fucking sweet.
Yeah. I just remember arguing with you outside and shit. I don't really remember even what happened.
Yeah,
with
did
that
you?
guy.
Okay, so I said, dude, if you fucking do anything like that, I don't have your back. I'm sorry, bro.
I actually remember. I thought it was you that was going to get in a fight with a guy. Is what I thought.
Wow, how backwards is that?
I know because I was so drunk. I thought when we were outside arguing, you said you were going to walk home because you were pissed off. I thought you were pissed off about that guy.
No, that was you.
Oh, okay.
And then so I'm like, I'm leaving, dude. I ain't fucking putting up with this, dude. And you're like, all right, I'll be right back and go beat the guy's ass. So I like walked out. I'm smoking. And then, like, you just came out. I was like, dude, you're a fucking dickhead, dude. Why are you such a fucking asshole? I'm like, I bring you down here, and I was nervous that you're going to do this, and you did do this. And so I'm, like, walking, and I got no, you had my keys.
Right, which I didn't fight the guy.
No, you had my keys. You would do that. You would grab, when you get drunk, you'd either you took my smokes, too. I think it was one of those nights. You grab my cigarettes after you borrowed one, and then just keep them in your pocket so you can hold them. And I'm not going to, like, try and fight my friend. I would, like, give me my fucking cigarettes back. No, dude, no, blah, blah, blah. So you got my keys and my cigarettes, and I'm livid. And so you're, like, fucking, I grab my cigarettes, and I get my keys, and then we're walking downtown Flint, and there's this big group of black people, and you're like grabbing on my fucking sleeve and shit. We're making this huge scene, like screaming at each other, and all these black people are like, white people crazy. And like fucking, and then we get to the parking lot, and then you fucking take my keys. And then you throw them or something. Yeah,
I don't remember.
Yeah, you threw my fucking keys, and I was like, "What the? You're okay." It turned from me like pissed off at you to you like concerned about me drinking and driving.
Yeah, that's what it was. I
And
didn't
you
want you
threw
to
my
drive. I remember
fucking
that part.
keys,
Yeah.
and so I'm like-
I don't remember throwing your keys, but I remember I wouldn't give you them or something.
Yeah,
I
because-
didn't want you to drink and drive.
No, you took them from me, and then you threw them, and then so I'm gonna hunt for my fucking keys, and I'm so fucking pissed. And then there's all these people like staring at us. We look like fucking scorned lovers. Like these fucking gay guys are so upset at each other.
They're having a tiff. They're just having a tiff. Let them go.
And I mean, knowing me, I was probably drunk with a lisp or something. I was like, you stupid son of a bitch.
Dude, I can't believe you just threw my keys in the middle of Flint, dude. Oh no.
And so So the story that involves me and you that I can think of